is August 14th. It is 5:05 a.m. and today we are reading from Dead Air, which is an ARC read that is actually available now because I may have been a little bit slow with the review. But hopefully everybody's had been a good week. Everything's been going well. My week has been kind of crazy and hectic. My poor girlfriend found out that, she walked into a water leak on Sunday, which was several days ago. And turns out the entire house needs to be replumbed. So she does rent, so the landlord takes care of the financial aspect of that end, but having a house replumbed is quite a bit. So I think returning to horror books is due because it's been kind of rough. So what did I like about Dead Air before I start? I'm a huge fan of the Tremors franchise, and the Tremors franchise being a movie is going to be different from a book and everything, but the reality is the Tremors storyline, at least the first two, maybe 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth, are a little bit otherworldly, fantastic. But such a big fan of that franchise that when I dove into Dead Air, which is a creature feature, it's kind of obvious with the slash across the title, there were a few parallels that I really liked, kind of made it exciting. The one thing that was really strong with this book was the dialogue. The dialogue was definitely very great. I would say the description, if there were a shortcoming, because I'm going to give it 4 stars, if there was a shortcoming, it would be the description. I did feel it was a little bit weak. So, overall, an enjoyable book. This read, dive into it, absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with Dead Air. Ooh, and I really like the title, the cover. Obviously the title, but the cover because, with the radio tower in the background, it kind of gives a little hint as to what's going on. Also, one thing I do like, I don't know if it shows up, I don't have the hard copy, but there was these little format layouts in between sections, which were really cool. Nice little addition. Chapter 1, After Dark. Noah came back on, and that one goes out to Marjorie in Cedar Lane, who says her husband still can't dance, but keeps trying anyway. Stay with him, Marjorie. I'm Noah Westcombe, and you're listening to WHLW. 1340 on our AM dial, Willow Heights own. It's 11:50 on a Monday night, and I've got room for 2 more requests before I turn you over to the crickets. That intro is really cool because it doesn't tell the time of day and so on and so forth. It doesn't give you a whole lot of information, but you find out really quickly what's going on. Noah Westcombe eased the fader down and let Sam Cooke carry the room. The booth was small and warm, heat rolling off the equipment, the air thick with coffee and dust and smell of plastic that had been baking against vacuum tubes since the station was built in 2001. The on-air sign... 2001, like that's back in the day now. That sucks. Now I feel old. The on-air crew... Wow, start again. The on-air sign threw red light across his hands on the mixing board. They were real faders that pushed back against the finger, real switches that landed on a click you could feel in the wrist. The cart wall of CDs, and behind him 2 reel-to-reel decks he kept running out of stubbornness. Down in the apartment he had a computer like everyone else. Up there the 21st century stopped at the door. The phone line blinked. He picked it up off air. WHLW, what can I play for you? Noah, it's Earl. Earl Pruitt called every Monday, and every Monday he pretended Noah might not recognize him. The wife wants the Patsy Cline one, the sad one. Earl, they're all sad ones. The real sad one. Crazy or walking after midnight? Earl consulted with someone in the background. Midnight. You got it. How's the knee? Barometer says rain's coming. Thursday. Knee agrees. October ain't a good month for them. Then I'll trust the knee. Night, Earl. The line clicked off and the headphones came short bursts of static. Sharp, evenly spaced, gone. Noah glanced at the level meters. They were normal. He tapped the phones anyway, out of a ritual more than suspicion. AM does strange things at night. Skywave, distant stations bouncing off the atmosphere, ionosphere, a whole invisible weather of signals up there after dark. He'd heard stranger. He pulled the Patsy Cline disc, cued it, and glanced at the clock. Noah was 38 years old, and this was the job now, playing Patsy Cline for retired machinists at 11 at night in the town he left when he was a kid. There were worse jobs. He had one once. People used to sit on the couch and rally and pay $160 an hour to be listened to. He'd been good at it right up until he wasn't good at anything after 5 p.m., except pouring. He moved back to Willow Heights 4 years ago. 4 years dry. His ex-wife in the house... Wow, messed up that sentence. His ex-wife had the house, the dog, and by every account a nicer husband. Noah had a radio license, an apartment beneath it that was just enough, and a cat. The cat met him at the foot of the stairs when he shut the station down at 2. Elvis started towards the food bowl, stopped halfway, then stood there with his nose lifted. Not at Noah, at the floor. Noah smelled it a second later. Damp mineral, like the concrete after a storm, except it hadn't rained in a week. Somebody's sump pump, he said. Elvis, a hefty orange authority on everything, declined comment and went to his bowl. The couch sagged where he always sat. The guitar leaned in the corner, dust on the shoulders, his mother 2 shotguns by the front door. When he unpacked, he'd seen that they were never bothered to move them. On the kitchen shelf stood the bottle of Jim Beam he had kept. It was 2/3 gone since sometime around 2022. He kept it there on purpose. Some men did push-ups. Noah walked past the bottle 40 times a day. Tonight, as he passed, the kitchen light dipped, and for a small half-second a ribbon of light slid across the counter, thrown through the bourbon, and steadied with the bulb. He ate cold spaghetti standing over the sink and was rinsing the fork when his lights dipped again, harder. The refrigerator hummed, caught itself, resumed. He looked at the ceiling fixtures. It burned steady, giving nothing away. Wiring, he told Elvis. On the way to his bed, he passed the door off the landing, the old archives room, CD overflow, dead equipment, and along the back wall, his mother's boxes. 2 of them, hauled back from Raleigh when he moved back, taped shut, labeled in her block capitals. One held her survey work, including the map from her walls, the ones with the red circles migrating year by year toward the center of town, folding now among the files. That box was a corner of tape peeled back and a spiral notebook sitting on top, where somebody had started unpacking one night and never came back. The other had her personal effects. Dr. Judy Westcombe, counter-geologist for almost 30 years, until she retired in '01. Brilliant. Everyone said so at the funeral. What they didn't say out of kindness was the rest of it. The extra locks she'd added to the house in Raleigh no one wanted to rob. The way she told him once in that last year she was alive that something never should have been built, over and over. She never told him that. Noah, who had diagnosed strangers for a living, had diagnosed his own mother across the dinner table and said nothing to her face. He meant to haul the boxes in the dump when he moved into the apartment, but never quite got around to it. He closed the door to the archive room without touching them. I'm going to go ahead and stop there because the rest of the chapter kind of gets into it because the book does move pretty quickly, and I really don't want to give too much away. But I really like the early edition of his mother saying something never should have been built there. Ooh, ominous. So, Dead Air. 4 stars. Really liked the story. Reminded me, and it could just be me because I do have such a appreciation for the movie and the storyline Tremors, reminded me a lot of Tremors. So there weren't parallels or certain things that were idiosyncratic to each other in the story, but it just kind of gave that vibe, that monster movie sort of a deal. So definitely a thumbs up. 4 stars, liked it. Dialogue was very strong. The description had a little bit less strength, but didn't all compromise my ability to want to keep reading. So, what else would I say? Oh, if you have any monster stories or monster books, monster movie type stuff that you want me to read, send them in the comments. Thank you for staying with me thus far.